Oh. Oh wait. Assume that I am. Okay. Okay. Well. I'm gonna wait a bit for people to see that I have gone live. But yeah. That's why I'm quiet now. Just wanna wait. That's all. Intentionally just waiting. Du-du-du. Whoa, lots of background sounds. That's not what you want, is it? I'm gonna do this then. There we go. Da-da. Okay. I hope audio is good. Just checking stuff now. I do hope there is audio. But while we wait for an we wait for an audience, make stuff happens. It's a good thing I'm streaming for 4 hours at least. Getting that good amount of learning. Okay. Hope I have done what I can. Really do hope. Okay. So where we were Hero's Trail base. GML vision. Okay. Assuming where we left off, existing recommended message, huh? I don't know what that is. Could be this. Hang on. No, hang on. Enemy parent. I think. What's that? Inherit. Yeah, that's what it's called. Inherit. not the thing. That's what my man Jayzilla said. What we were doing, what we were missing. I think that should be here. Yeah. And then if we go back to the enemy, and if we delete if this event, I wonder. Can really wonder. Oh, my dog went out. There you go. Right. Repress play. How are we? So we can move. Spacebar still works. Collecting. And yeah. Okay. Did the inherent thing. Good. And then okay. So at least this is fixed by call parent event. Okay. Next up, let me get this thing up. Help me get a more stable ground. Let's see here. Game maker. So did in fact do all of this. Yep. I think there's also a next part to this. Okay, yeah, now we're gonna like okay, the tutorial just has more stuff. That aren't that needed really. I guess it's more like just like let's see. Yeah, it's just level editing, changing the level a bit, wall collisions, make sure that there are walls. Custom features. That might be fun. Whoa, okay. Very, very, very nice. Now I wonder where we would need to put that. Actions. That. Nope, that's just going up. Okay. A lot more stuff. Adding coins, yeah, we did that. Collecting coins. Honestly, yeah, how about we start adding a bit more stuff to the environment here. Good example would be coins. Where is that coins? Probably it's sprites in it? No, can't be. It should be an object. Actual object. Ah, because you walk in it, it disappears, which could make it an enemy. So obviously say this is just what we can do, and that does not lead to anywhere at all. Literally nowhere. So I could go on to the next small game to learn the tutorial of. I think could go over the tower defense there. Tower defense does sound nice. Sounds very nice indeed. Let's just fill this up. There we go. Just coins. Play. Oops. So you get the obvious, and then you get the. Oh, okay. So it's, I wonder if that's a thing to add like a health. Nah, don't think so. Yeah, see, it's a one-hit thing. Okay. One coin. One coin. Okay. So since this is basically game 2, I might go over back to Space Rocks and see what I can do from there. See if I remember most of it. Maybe. Could with the tower defense. That is one. Would be nice to know. No. Where is that? Oh, okay. Could do an endless jumper then, I guess. So there isn't much of a tutorial. Well, I mean, it, I think would be, yeah, because there's nothing. Just press play. Oh, loud. Zilla. Good man. How are you doing this? Desktop Oh yeah, did you kind of figure out what was the problem with the problem that you had close to the end of the stream? I hope you did figure it out. Oh shit. Specific, how's that, huh? Should be better. And yeah, what I what I asked, did you figure out what was the situation that you got with the stream? Just go with a new template. Oh, why is that? Why is that indeed? Okay, I'ma just say this. Okay, so we did two tutorials, which is the shooter and the action one. I wanted to do the tower defense one, but there wasn't really a tutorial for it. But there is a tutorial for an endless jumper, which would be interesting to, well, see how it will be coded. So we're gonna do that. Either visual or GML code. Let's see what they give me. Okay, well, the tutorial gives GML visual, so might as well go GML visual. Oh, why does the mic sound so wibbly wobbly? It's going crazy on OBS. I hope the microphone is good quality, because if not, then all you would just hear is just extreme noises. Let's see what's the problem here. Yeah, look at that. It's just doing some random stuff. Oh, okay. Just jumping infinitely. Yeah, but there's no way to take that out. Okay. For some reason that fire didn't hit me. Interesting. Whoops. Okay. Can assume that there isn't really a problem. It's just gonna show how to edit mostly upon it. Like for instance, instances. Haha. Let's see here. But let's go here from the beginning. Oh, excuse me. Damn. Headphones is stuck. let's fix my headphones being stuck and then we will get on with it. Okay. Boom. Damn it, there's something else I need to do. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now we're ready. Let's do this. So if we have obviously the workspace here. Yeah, let's go. Okay. We have the readme. An upgraded version of the tutorial. Aha, I see. I'm gonna just read the stuff. Okay. So I assume this is just showing what you would get after you coded it. I can only assume. So let's go over here. Okay, we are going to apparently do this from complete scratch, I guess, which is very nice, very good. But obviously, yeah, they're the assets. I don't have the assets. I'ma get the assets. And tutorials. Where is it? There you are. Whoa. Fire jump assets. Okay, it is currently installing. Okay. Eat here. We're ready. Let's extract. Hell yeah. Let's start doing it. Okay, obviously I can assume complete new project. I'm gonna call this fly jump attempt. I can't spell. I don't know if that's even correct, but here we go. Okay. Let's see here what the person tells me to do. I do have the assets. Do have what I need. Oh, you can slightly hear it. Okay. Assume we're gonna drag the room in. But I don't know. I think we are. Second workspace, eh? I'm literally following this step by step. we're gonna be here for a long time, but that's why I'm streaming 4 hours. Cause I know I know that this will be a thing. So audio will be done here. Oh, okay. Or not. Okay, gone. Alrighty then. Make me do something and then says, nah, scrap it. Uh-huh. Oh. Oh. Damn. That seems very helpful. Oh, okay, then we both learned something new today. You see, we can rename workspaces. Boom. Now we know. This man has clicked on sprites. Uh-huh. And then he's speaking about the assets now. Okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I see, I see, I see. The art assets, the audio, obviously the readme. Okay, so we're going here. And then character 1, obviously, the character 1 is a male, and character 2 is a female firefighter. I'm gonna stick with male, I guess. Hope no one just calls me out for using the male one. He opened it, and then he closed it. It's a good thing I didn't open it, because otherwise I would be doing something that I wouldn't need to. Okay. So it's air. Yeah. Assumedly into sprites. Boom. Look at that beautiful man. Look at that man jumping. You can see he wants to be in the air. I suspect I'm gonna just drag all of these in. It would make sense. I'm gonna just do that. Oh, we did something I missed. Create a wait, what did he make? He made. Okay. Oh, no, he didn't make anything. He just went to here and called it firefighter. I'ma call it firefighter. There we go. Now what, Commander? What do we need? What do you require? Uh-huh. He clicked on firefighter now. He didn't click on firefighter. He's now back to sprites. Obviously, it's very clear that he is explaining this in detail, like I said. And then another group called player, because that is how one should do it. I did it wrong. I can't believe I did it wrong. I'm a disgrace. No. No. Nope. Yes, go. I think it's more like here. There we go. So if I say call this player. Uh-huh. No, I did do it correctly. If this is just what's gonna keep me busy the entire time, right? I might just go over and try to see if I can do that asteroids game by not looking at a tutorial. I hope I can. If this is too much, but that's just giving up too quickly, isn't it? Well, it is what it is, I guess. Just along for the ride. I wish I could do that, but I can't. Supposed to, apparently. Now I can. Haha! I figured it out! It's not even coding yet. It's just making stuff easier for me now. This is just the searching stuff. Sprite editor, yep. Frames per second, stick to 30, roger that. Oh, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're doing something. Middle center. Okay. Which is, I assume, is that. This is an hour tutorial video. I am down, dude. And then he adds another sprite. SPR window. I see. That is not extension, that's just here. Calls this SPR underscore window. Zoom up. There we go. Now we can see stuff. He goes to objects. He just clicks on objects. Okay, I was quiet for a few seconds. Where are we? The exact same place. Aha, okay. Now we're doing something like edit image or import. Audio, I assume art, yep. Art, building, yes, okay. I assume the window would be the brick tile? No, it would be window 1. No, window 0 to 2. Yes. Ooh. Oh. Huh. What? It's not what it's supposed to do. Oh, what you see, Jazela? What happened? What's up? What did you learn? What did you figure out? One. What? Okay. The man just put this frames per second to 0. Once for switching sprites with only one sprite. Oh. Okay. Interesting. Clearly it's something that with the sprites that you have that might what's the word, make it easier to cramp it in, because it's multiple that correspond to each other, I assume. So nice. That's if you have that stuff for your thing. Nope, I don't want to go that way. I want to go sideways and downwards, I guess. Custom. So you made this 161. Oh, hey, not 0161. Sheesh. And 370. Assuming that we did indeed zoom in, but I don't think zoom in. Oh, another sprite. And we shall call this, aha, brick tile. Brick underscore tile. Import brick tile. Yes. Boom. Okay. It's obvious to say that I am just getting the stuff to build the game. It's nice. That's nice. So we have the player, we have the window, and we have the bricks. Ooh, now we're at the event. Made an object. Not there. We don't want it there, we want it here. One object called obj player underscore player. Right. Okay. Could assume that this might assume the is the sprite of player. Now, actually, it just hit me. No, not that. Like, it's just doing that a bunch of times. Hang on. Instead of air, import those. No. It's way too fast. Do it like 1 frame. You see, it's in the wrong order. No, but that's when he falls. Okay. Only when he falls. So it's about take all of these, right? So up this. Take this guy out, take this guy out, take this guy out. Jumps. I wish there was a way to like rearrange it. There should be. Nope, that just edits the image. I'm just no. Oh no. I assume I'm stuck. No, come on. Where? Obviously. Close it. Like, oh. Bang! We're starting off good! Okay, anyway. I'ma just bring back what we had. Obviously, which is the air one. Boom, and then let's not fondle with those. That's not what we want. Now we can move you up. Okay. Let's see what we do here. That is not what we want. We want this guy. There we go. The jumper. Oh wait, no, I'm not. I don't know. Hang on. Yes. He jumps in the air with the greatest of ease. See, then adds another object. Calls that the window. I can obviously assume that we're gonna use this guy. Yep, we did use that guy. Object as well. I think the brick is obviously also an object. Oh, hang on. Okay, I'll be back. I gotta finish something. I'm back. Okay. Where were we? Where are we? What are we doing? We're doing this. Yes. We are renaming the room, which is here, to RM game. Just F2 it. RM underscore game. There we go. Now we have the room. Room properties, yes, we do know of the room properties. That is what they do. No. background obviously has no sprites. Indeed, has no sprites. Oh yeah. Mm. Ooh. Creating it's creating a tile path. Ooh. And then we get this stuff. No, work. Thank you. Obviously, it's because I didn't add it, is it? Or I didn't. There, yeah. Consider this as RM game, but that's not how you did it. What did I miss? I didn't miss anything apparently. He just has stuff that I don't have. Ain't that something funny? Very, very funny. Why can that? Why is that? Why do I not see what he has? Nope, that just makes it go away. It's below this. Yeah, it's below that. I assume from where he looks. Well, you did like this. Like, hello, the man's here. Nope, that's effect. Now I see. Instead of doing that, you do this. Come on. What am I missing? What am I doing wrong? Like he just adds that there. Then this just tells you that I need to be like focused as much as possible. Damn. Obviously I did miss something. You might hear the sound. Yep, there it is. Now you're hearing him. Where the hell did the instance go? What have I done now? There it is. I've done nothing wrong. important stuff there, indeed. I see. Hmm. Yeah, this guy can see stuff that I can't on his screen for some reason. And that's it? Okay. I think it's fine because we can't see much, hopefully. Yeah, because clearly I can do... It's because he ain't standing on this, hombre. He's standing on this. I hope. Guess he has more stuff than I do. Or less. Yeah, because I don't have room settings. He has, I don't. Why is that? I think it should be fine. The height and width. You see, I know I'm supposed to have that. Height and width. But I don't. Jeez. Man, like stuff can be more confusing. Jeez, I just dragged it off screen. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's the one thing why I would need to know how to edit this room, because I need to make it look like a mobile screen basically. Ooh. Nope. So that's why I just add an instance and tiles. Okay. I am spending too much time on this because I'm missing settings. Yeah, I know I need to change the height and width, but for some reason I don't have anything for height and width. I'm supposed to. I remember that on the like the Space Invaders game, but here I don't have. I don't know why. Nothing. I'm supposed to, but I don't. Or maybe I'm not reading correctly. Nope, that's not the case. It's just the sprite. Background layer options. Layer options for background. I don't have anything sort of layer options, but I do have properties, but it doesn't have the properties that I need. Really don't know why. Maybe it could be this. assume that this is not. No. Hopefully it's not offset. I know that. Ooh. Click on the room itself. There we go, finally. Okay, thanks, man. So you do need to like click on the room. Did he not? Did he say that in the tutorial? Because then I just plain well didn't listen. Or maybe he did it without me knowing? Yeah, on the room name. Oh. Now we're here, I assume, yeah. Hmm. And that will be brick. There we go. But he needs to be stretched out. And vertical. There we go. Bunch of tiles. Yeah, it looks like bricks. Hmm. Now we're doing some designing. Let's go. Ooh. Whoops. Instances of different data. Indeed, they do. Keep the player. Okay. So we add another instance layer. Okay. Drag him down. No. There we go. Okay. to the events. Gem of visual, yeah. Nah, he says I can minimize this obviously, but I'm not gonna. Even though it's fine. I'm gonna do it anyway. Sit speed. Translate my blocks. Vertical. So it's just gonna be jumping up endlessly. Okay. Speeds and everything. Okay. I see, I see. Ten. Close to 1080. The 1920, obviously. Y down and X sideways. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Increase of Y. Hmm. The man just said, don't give up and ask questions. Haha. I know. Aha. That's what I forgot to do. The one thing I forgot to set up. Damn. The one thing. Just gonna have that. Hopefully there's sound. But not too loud sound. There we go. Nice and calm music. Heck yeah. Yeah, very nice. -35. Oh damn, we're doing the play thing. Here we go. Whoa! Oh no, it looks horrible. Okay. I have assumptions, okay? Because I did something wrong, and I know what. I know what. I think that's why I put this on 0. Because it doesn't continue. Yep. Okay. Now we're gonna insert gravity. Force by 1. I think that's a little bit too less. Okay. He said experiment. Let's experiment. Oh, 1. Jeez. Let's see here. So if it's 40. See, that's a bit too high. So 50. Boing. And then if gravity set to 2. Maybe 45. It's too much. Too. See, that's not gonna jump anywhere. Yeah. So I assume let's make this 60. Yeah. But let's stick with 1. Stick with what we've got. 35. It's a good number. I guess. Wouldn't really know. It's just a number. Run the game one more time. We just did. So there's no gravity. After 1 second. Event and keep down. I'm gonna just keep a GML visual. It's variable. Okay. Just X. Okay. -58. -58. That's just gonna make him launch. Just 15. So yeah, it's not as smooth. It's just gonna like bop bop. Oh wait, left. I just pressed it. No, I did. Yeah, that is right. Why did it go left? Oh. Because I did it for the wrong one. 15. I think. Yeah, this is for left. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Boing. It's still, damn. Right. Left. Watch if I press right. It does the thing again. I'm missing something. Check relative. Boom. That's what I'm missing. Aha. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Yeah. The same for left, I assume. Because it would do it smoothly. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Collision mask. Okay. Ooh. Huh. Yeah, we don't want this also to be. Eh. Okay. We do this by the pixel, I tell you. Just the lower third. So I assume I didn't set it yet. I'm too ahead. I'm too ahead of this. I should just go. I should just take it. Aha. Because I missed something. Whoops-a-daisy. I wasn't paying attention. A collision event. No, very certain that we know that. I can't believe I did a very basic mistake. I forgot to add a collision for the window. But we still have to add something. it's just gonna be boing, boing, boing. Hell yeah! But it barely makes it though. Gonna have to edit the top. Gonna have to edit them a bit. Yeah. But we'll get that. We'll get there. We'll get there. Okay. Yeah, nice. I'm making the second game from scratch. But it's different, so that's nice. So now we're gonna make it face a certain direction if key is pressed. So, instance. This obviously needs to be relative. Oh, whoops. Right. Boom. -1. Same for left. I just did it again. Son of a... Close you. There we go. -1. I think for left it should also be for left no, right it should be 1. Okay. Okay. Let's check. Boom. It's now doing the switch. Okay. Whoa. Oh, okay. Yes, indeed, I have more than he does. Graphics. Ooh. Aha, I see. So that shouldn't be done if it's pixel art. I see, I see. Aha, so since that is now it, if... Nope. Nope. Wait, where'd my character go? He's gone. But why was he oh wait. He's probably gone because he fell off the side. Okay, but interesting. It's like a trampoline for him. I'm supposed to change this in size. Minimize it. Allow full screen switching? I don't think it's that. Oh, and he's gone. Oh, whoops. It's not allow full screens. Uh, so he has display cursor. No, it is allow windows resize. I can't believe I didn't even see that. Oh, wait. Uh-huh. Yeah, there we go. But it adds the black bars. So it can go slower, but it still matches it. Heck yeah! Boom. It's not an infinite platformer. Okay, so next is to make it an infinite platformer. Huh. Okay. I missed something. Sorry, I was checking something. Underscore parent. Okay. Hmm. Indeed, we will not add it because it doesn't have a sprite, but it should inherit it. Step of it. We're back in the if. Okay, V speed. Vertical speed, yes indeed, indubitably. If that speed is less than always drag on the right, because that's will adapt the condition. Okay. Let's have this big screen. There we go. So if less than 0, then temporary. Down speed negative V speed. Oh. It should be a Y, I assume. But let's see. Yeah. Speed. And check relative. Oh. Whoa! Holy crap! Whoa. Oh. And then he never went down. Oh wait, he did. Obviously he's jumping too much. Uh-oh. Oh, now my keys are working. Okay. At least the bricks are repeating itself. So we want another if variable. No. No. Up top. Haha. Y equals less room underscore height divided by 2. Okay. Okay, set instance variable. Y coordinate. Room. Height. Oh, okay. Uh-oh. He ain't jumping. Why is he not? Okay, there we go. Now we jumping. Okay. Layer underscore get Y. Option for a function. Okay. Nope. I see. Yeah, HB Gamer, welcome. The program is going well, actually. We're learning a infinite jumper from scratch. Doing it from scratch, actually. But going pretty well. Going slow, but you know, anything to learn how to make games. gonna show you now HP how far we've gotten. Function call. So this one's gonna be for layer get X. Just layer Y, okay. Back. Ground. Another argument. Back underscore Y. Nope. Plus down speed. So that should be giving. Come on. Come on, jump. Why isn't he jumping? Broke all your Wi-Fi routers today, man. Oh, jeez. Here we go. Okay. We just went up. That sounds extremely bad. The fact that you broke all your Wi-Fi routers today. That sounds a big oopsie doopsie, dude. Attempt. So apparently the guy made a mistake by forgetting the negative. So the character was just jumping down. Oh man. Always remember the needed stuff to make it the game that makes sense. And I just noticed this tutorial that's 1 hour long says part 1. Ooh, baby, we're gonna be here. Okay. Instance. Whoops, that's too much. So we're gonna add a step event, but first I'm gonna zoom out of this. No. I think I can just do that, yeah. The workspace. There we go, okay. So for window, add an event, a step event. Oof. Just a normal step. 4 parts, almost 1 hour each. Perfect for this stream. Gonna stream 4 hours. That's if we make it. But yeah, it's a 4-hour stream. We might get to part 3 then. You know what? We gradually see progress then. Over each hour. Each hour. Ooh, let's get zoomed in. So Okay. OBJ window. If variable y. If y is greater than room underscore height. Nope. Oh, whoops. I don't want to do that. There we go. Plus 360. There we go. Oh, now we're gonna add some randomness, huh? Oh, nice. Oh, we get random number, of course. Oh, not that. Just get random number. Width minus 200. Okay. This is the basic. I think we can change this later on. Hopefully once we're done we could see what we could change. New underscore x. New underscore x. Okay. Whoa, what happened? Let's see. Hang on, let's see that error again. Wasn't reading correctly. X equals new x. What is it? What do you mean? Oh damn, no Wi-Fi to watch him. See ya HB. Oh, he's already gone. Yeah. When destroying all Wi-Fi routers, just had to use this data. But anyway, the situation that is this. What could be the problem? What did I miss? Obviously I typed something wrong. Or maybe it's not really corresponding with what I have. Room height plus 360, room width minus 200. Aha, no, I see, I do indeed see my problem. I do indeed see my problem, for a fact. And it's because of spelling. That's... Damn, I'm gonna have to check. Oh, it's not next underscore x. New underscore x. That's not... I clicked on the bug. Oh! Ah! You... holy crap. The man's going to space. And he's increasing speed by the second. Holy. Let's reduce my velocity a bit. Holy crap. Okay. Oh, that's not what you want. power overwhelming. Yeah, indeed. But obviously, this is a bit too random. Obviously, but we'll get to that. Now I feel like... No, no, not again! Not again! No! We jump. Just jump. Damn it. Yeah, we didn't like specify a certain height. Come on. Come on. You can do it. You can jump it. Yeah. Damn it. Oh well. We'll fix that. Oh, dang, that's how you tend to fix it? You adjust this. Oh, okay. At least you put some physical work in it. Okay, 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 okay. So let's see by pixel. Wait, where's my window? There's my window. Okay, let's see from here, because it's obviously going to increase in velocity a great amount with all of these windows. No, not again! Oh, no! Damn it. I guess that is just one of the ways to, well, win the game. But we don't want people to win the game that easily. Obviously, he's doing that because I think that velocity that is currently being is a bit too much. Like minus 35? No, minus 35 seems alright. Or is it? What if we set it to like 25? I think that would still be a bit less. Not again! Boing. I see. Now it is too less. When it hits. I see. Very interesting. Very interesting. If we make it 40, that exact. Oh, holy shit. Stop jumping. Come on, just. Nope. Come on. Yeah, obviously it's setting the objects too high. I think you'll encounter that too randomness now. Let's see, too randomness would mean... Too randomness would imply that it's a bit too random, so I'll probably do this. You know, so it's making it as fast as it can be random. So it's just scramming stuff in for you to land on, which is, I assume, not what we want. Because that speed is very much too much. What if we started like here? We just do basic platforming, I guess. And restart. Okay, ready. Oh. Oh. And we'll see one that's scrambled. Yep, there is one. Damn it. Hang on, I have an idea. No, okay. Vertical speed, aha. This vertical speed, yes. See what you mean. Wait, wouldn't it like just make me teleport to it? Or am I understanding what relative does to it? Oh. Okay. I do see what you mean. Okay. So let's return that to 35. Bring it on down a bit. Gently ease it down a bit. Now hopefully, obviously the ones that come after are not, yeah, exactly. They aren't set high enough for me to jump on. But it will be. Another if. Hang on, this is on player. Hang on. Boo. Your speed is greater than 0. Okay, so let's see here. Now you just land on it. Boop, and now he's disappeared. I feel like, hang on, where is it? I think this. Maybe it should be on decimal, I assume. What happens if it is on decimal? Not much of a chance, because I want the windows to not be that extremely high up, which makes it impossible for the character to jump to. Maybe we reduce the minimum. What if we just make it 150? Minus 150. 150. Would that change anything? No, not really. Not really. Maybe that. Change to 200. Boing, boing. Nope. Nope, nope. Could be that. If y is greater than the room height of 360 degrees. What could be done to make the windows not suck at positioning? What? From what I understand, it would be this. Because it's moving, yeah. Not 2000, that's ridiculous. And also the randomness of it, because some of them are just scrammed into each other, which makes it very, you know, not, I guess sad, yeah. Because it's just crammed into each other. It's not what we want. As he says in the tutorial that you would need to like bring them closer, I guess. But then it wouldn't like going. Yeah, it would still be extremely high with that random. Nope, that's not what I want. What if I make it like, I don't know, aha, there we go. Okay, boom, boom. You see now, that's already one of those that's crammed into each other. Like, I don't think it would be realistic to see like a house window have that. Oh, come on, no. Come on, damn you, no. Okay. Do that. Boing, boing, boing. It needs to be lower. Let's do it more to the side here. Boom, boom, boing. There we go. Okay, yeah, now it looks decent enough. It's functional. Oh yeah, because I clicked off. Boing, boing, boing. There we go. Okay. Make another sprite. Import. Wait, where did he import this from? From building. Aha. Street. To rename this as well. I think I did. I just forgot. No, that's wrong wording. I think I did. I just probably like took it away. Brick. No. Tile. Rename. str_street. Okay, obviously we need to make a new object for this guy. Object. Street. Okay. Okay, so you went like this and dragged it in. So basically we're gonna start from here. Let's see. Yeah, because it has to fit with the frame, obviously. No, come on. There we go. A few there. Okay. So this would then occur. There is now a fire truck place, and he's just jumping and jumping, and whoops, a daisy. Cause it's a whole frame of, it's a bunch of stuff above. Damn. What if I had him higher? Obviously. And then it's too high. Gonna have to make it so that it makes, so that it does work. Let's see here. Will this work? Yes. Okay. But then the randomness comes in. Like move it a bit to the side here. Could add like another one over here just in case you like maybe fall off or something. Let's see here. It's like an alternative place to go. Yeah, there we go. I mean, it's still cramped, but it's a good start. Very good start. Put this one in the middle here. There we go. Nice. Okay, that's part 1. Let's go over to part 2. Let's see if part 2 is here. It should be. I'm gonna have, you know what, I'll just open it here. That's not what you want to say. Whoopsies. No, okay. Let's see here. Where is the jumper? There you are. So we already did part 1. Now we'll move on to part 2.
Greetings and welcome to part 2 of Fire Jump. My name is Aaron Craig with Let's Learn This Together, and today we're going to be tackling adding in states for our player, spawning and being able to rescue civilians, adding in a score, and a cool jump effect when we move from window to window. So this is part 2. If you are just watching this video, make sure you go back and watch part 1. I show you where to grab the assets, and we're going to build on what we made in that first part. Otherwise, let's go ahead and dive in. So the first thing we're going to do is add in a few more sprites for our player. So right now we only have the player going up into the air, but we want to add a few more sprites for when they are falling, when they are jumping, and then we'll also get eventually to when they hit fire and we kind of kill them because, well, you're not supposed to touch fire in real life or in games most of the time. So I'm going to click on this player group, and then I'm actually going to come up here and click create asset, and I want 2 sprites. So I'm going to type 2 down here and press sprite and create, and it makes them both right there in our group. So on the first one, I'm going to go to import, and in the Fire Jump user assets, get art assets, go to character, whichever one you're using, and we're going to grab. And then I'm actually going to come up here and click create asset, and I want 2 sprites. So I'm going to type.
Oh man, I'm just blind. Yeah. 2 sprites. It's gonna be added here.
2 down here, and press sprite and create, and it makes them both right there in our group. So on the first one, I'm going to go to import, and in the Fire Jump user assets, get art assets, go to character, whichever one you're using, and we're going to grab SPR player jump. And then we're also going to go into sprite 6 that we've got here, press import and grab SPR player fall. Now we've got both of these, but remember that when we're bringing in new sprites, we want to make sure that the origin is the same on them. And for our player, we want the origin to be middle center on all of these. So I'm going to middle center on this one and on this one. Now, if you're bringing in a lot of sprites, it might be helpful to know that you can actually change the default that the origin gets set to. If you go to File, Preferences, you can go to the Sprite Editor, and right here you have the default sprite origin. So right now it's set to top left, but we could change it to middle center, press apply, and now whenever we bring in a new sprite, it's going to automatically be in the middle center. This is my preferred spot because most of my sprites end up being in the middle center, so it just saves a little bit of time, and that way if I forget to do it, well, it's already done because I already changed it in the settings. Now let's rename these sprites before we forget. So this is going to be SPR underscore player underscore jump, and this one is going to be fall, so SPR underscore player underscore player fall. So this one we're going to do when we're going down, and this one is going to be when we actually land on a windowsill, a ledge, and we're going to jump up. Now we actually want this to play for a certain amount of time, and how we're going to do that is we can take the frame down here and we can actually stretch this. So we can take one sub image here and actually make it multiple frames. So we're going to make this 8 frames altogether. And what that's going to allow us to do is when we switch to this sprite, it will stay there for 8 frames, which is pretty short, but definitely long enough to be able to see in your game. And then it's going to switch right back at the end of its animation. So it doesn't look like it's animated, but you can see that it's playing through all of them right here. So it is an animation, even though it's kind of a still animation. And then the frame speed for the fall doesn't matter because it's not an animation at all. There's just 1 frame on that. So now that we've got all the sprites we need for right now, we can set up the jump state. So let's go into obj player, objects, player, and we're going to go into the collision event with the window. I'm going to press F12 to give me a little more working space.
Oops.
I'm going to open this up a little bit. So right now we have an if check to see if we are going down. So if our V speed is greater than 0, which means we're moving down, and we collide with the window, then we actually get bumped up. But we want to add a little bit to this. We actually want to set the jumping sprite when we collide with this window. So we're going to go and look for set sprite. So I'm going to search for set sprite. And then we just drag this little Pac-Man down here and make sure it's underneath this if variable. And what we want to change it to is the sprite we just set up. So we can actually click on this select an asset, go to sprites, player, and we want player jump. And the frame is which one we start at, and we want to start at the beginning. So now, when we collide with that window, we're going to change to this sprite. But before we test it out, we need to have a way to be able to move in and out of this jumping state that we're creating, because currently if we hit a window, we will just stay like that forever. So what we're going to check for is the end of the animation of our player jump. So I'm going to go to add event. We're going to go under other, which has some really great events that cover things that you'll need in your game, like going outside of a room or intersecting a boundary, or when a game starts, when a room ends. The thing we're going to use right now is the animation end event. So this gets run when any animation for this object finishes playing. That means that when this event runs, we've reached the end of the animation, and we know we want to switch back to our firefighter going up into the air. But we do want to be careful, because we will have other animations that will be playing through this object, and we have other sprites. So we're going to add an if check here, if variable, and the variable we're going to check is called sprite underscore index. It's a built-in variable, and we're going to check to see if we are on our jumping sprite. So SPR underscore player. And you can see the sprites even autofill in here, which is really, really handy. So jump is what we're looking for. So if the animation ends and our player is using the jump sprite, then we're going to change that sprite using that same code block we used before for setting sprite. We'll drag it down here. We gotta make sure that it's actually underneath our ifs variable here, and we want to change it back to our SPR player air. Set it to frame 0. It does not need to be relative, and voila! Now we can switch between these sprites exactly as you would expect. Let's go ahead and run it and check it out. So that's what we're looking for.
Let's see.
If you want the animation to be shorter or longer, you can increase that frame size. And if you
There we
don't
go.
like it, then you
Now
can
there's
take
the
it out,
animation.
because remember, it's your game. You can do whatever you want with it. But that takes care of changing between the sprites that we've got, and that's a tool you're going to use very often, because one object will oftentimes have many sprites associated with it, and depending on what kind of game you're making, you could even have dozens of different sprites associated. Like an item object could have any of the item sprites that you could have in your entire game. So knowing how to switch between them and knowing how to check which sprite is currently attached to that object are really useful skills that you will continue to use in all of your games. Next up is the fall state. So now we want to tackle when we're going down. So we've got to change for when we're going up, but now we want to use that SPR player fall sprite when our V speed becomes greater than 0. And how we're going to handle transitioning into this is by adding another event. This time go to step, and we're going to go to...
Oh, really? My sprites are gone. No! Ah! Damn! Ah, 'cause I put everything in script, son of a Damn. Okay. Should be here, here, and here. There we go. Now it's nothing in script. Okay, now it's not gonna confuse me. Damn. Okay. Let us continue. So we are on obj player indeed, and end step. Doing an end step. Yes.
So, as its name suggests, the end step triggers after the step event. So that means that everything inside of here runs first, and then the end step code will get run, which is exactly what we're looking for, because we want to transition only at the very end if everything else is how it should be. So we're going to grab an if variable. This is one that we're going to continue to use over and over because of how powerful and useful it is. So we know how to check when our player is going down. We look at the v-speed and we check to see if it is greater than 0. And if it is, we're going to set this sprite, and we're going to set it so we can type it in here if we know the name, which we do. So SPR player fall. And the frame starts at 0, just like how we want. So let's go ahead and test this, because it's everything we actually need to do to have all of our jumping states work. So you see that? We are jumping up, we're falling down, everything is working exactly as you would expect right there. So the way that it functions is when we collide with this window, most of our code gets run. The end step triggers all the time, but the collision event with the window sets it to the jumping sprite, and then right after that's done,
I'm just in the middle here, I will just be jumping on them.
And at the end step, if we are falling down, it transitions to the falling sprite. 3 different states for 3 different sprites, and
very
nice.
Perfectly.
Now, one very important thing to note is that when you're changing sprites, the mask for your character or your object is also going to change. So that means that when we changed our player air collision mask to right down here, that is how we want it when we are playing the game. We want this to basically be the same for the entire gameplay. But as soon as we switch to, let's say, SPR player jump or fall, that collision mask is going to get changed to this one. Or in the case of fall, it gets changed to this one.
Obviously
that causes some serious issues, because this is not the same size mask, it is not in the same place, so it can make your game do unexpected things. Fortunately, we don't actually need to change the mask for all of these. We can go into OBJ player, and the collision mask right now is set to the same as sprite, but we're going to actually change it to the player SPR player air. So that one custom collision mask we created is now the collision mask that will get used all the time for our player. This is something that is really easy to overlook, but when you are using multiple sprites and you are checking collisions, be sure that they either all have the same collision mask, or you set a collision mask for that object to always be the same. This can cause so many problems when you are checking to see if you are colliding with something when you don't think you should be. So keep that in mind. Collision mask, you can set it manually right here. So next up, we're going to tackle spawning in the civilians. So down here in sprites, let's go ahead and right click and make a new group. This one is going to be for civilians. And now we've got 3 different civilians that we're going to use. So I know we need 3 sprites. So I'm going to click on create asset.
Let's hope I know how to spell.
Choose sprite, click create. And then I'm going to bring over the assets that we've got here. Now, when a new sprite is created in GameMaker, the default civilians that we're going to use. So I know we need 3 sprites. So I'm going to click on create asset, set it to 3, choose sprite, click create. And then I'm going to bring over the assets that we've got here. Now, when a new sprite is created in GameMaker, the default size for it is 64 by 64. So if we were to drag one of these images, which is much higher resolution, onto the sprite editor, well, it depends on where you put it, you're going to have a different action. So if you put it down here, it's going to actually want you to resize the sprite you're bringing in. So you can scale the image or the canvas, but either way, it's not going to be what you're looking for. You click apply, and now all of a sudden this is really low resolution. You can still kind of tell what it is, which is pretty impressive, but it's certainly not what we want. So I'm going to click on this and delete it. And then instead, when we drag a higher resolution sprite into our game, we want to put it
Ooh, what did I miss?
image or the canvas, but either way, it's not going to be what you're looking for. You click apply, and now all of a sudden this is really low resolution.
Ooh.
You can still kind of tell what it is, which is pretty impressive, but it's certainly not what we want. So I'm going to click on this and delete it. And then instead, when we drag a higher resolution sprite into our game, we want to put it up here. And then GameMaker will automatically resize it
so
and
not
have it
down
fit
here.
properly.
Drag
Then
it
we
to
can grab
there.
the second animation and drag it down here.
Because it would
And now
fit with the
it
amount of
is
resolution.
inside here just the way we're looking for. Now this animation is way too fast at 30 frames per second.
What the
So we're
hell
gonna
did I
set-
miss just now?
Size it and have it fit properly. Then we can grab the second animation and drag it down here.
This is assumedly A. It's over here. Aha. Ah, help. He's literally screaming help. Yeah, see you next time, dude. I'll see you on your stream. Enjoy your night, dude. You shall see me with great progress. Okay.
And now it is inside here just the way we're looking for. Now this animation is way too fast at 30 frames per second. So we're going to set it to 4, and I think that looks pretty good. And we're going to rename this to SPR Civilian 0. And then let's go ahead and do the same for the other two. So scroll down, not in the sprite, but down in GameMaker just a little bit. I'm going to grab Civilian 1A, put it in here, and then 1B, and we'll do the same for 2, and then we'll rename them and change the speeds. There we go. We also have the rescued sprites, which we'll use in a little bit, but for now I'll put them away. Let's go ahead and rename these SPR Civilian 1, change the FPS to 4,
1B.
change this one to SPR Civilian 2, and change its FPS to 4. Now we have them named correctly, in the right group, at the right speed. So now we've got the civilian sprites that we're going to need, but we don't actually want the origins of these sprites.
1 SPR. Civilian. Civilian underscore 1. SPR civilian underscore 2 at 4 frames. 4 frames. There we go.
To be in the middle center. Remember that the SPR window, we set its origin to be right there in the center. So what we're going to do is
What did I just miss? I missed so much.
to be in the middle center. Remember that the SPR window, we set its origin to be right there in the center. So what we're going to do is actually spawn.
Aha. Hang on. Window. Nope. SPR window. Oh no, it is there. Okay.
On our civilians right on this origin. But that means that for the civilians, we don't want them to be spawned in the middle of their image here. We actually want it to be bottom center. So right,
So bottom center. I suspect for all of them they need to be bottom center.
down here. So we're going to change it to bottom center for each one of our sprites. And now, when we create those objects in the game, they will be put exactly where they're supposed to be. Now,
Okay.
they have a little bit of a transparency down here, and they kind of fade in, and that's because there's going to be flames in the window. So you can imagine right here, this is what it's going to look like. We're going to put that civilian inside the window, just right there. So with all that out of the way, now we can create our civilian object. And you might think to yourself, well, I've got 3 civilian sprites, so I'm going to make 3 civilian objects. But as we saw earlier, you don't need to have a unique object for all of the different sprites you want associated with it. We can actually create one object for all 3 civilians, because we're going to have them basically act the same. So this would be the idea of a parent, which we used in the last part, except now it's just one object, so we don't actually have to have them have a relationship like that. We are going to have them have a parent for the move parent so that they do act like everything else in the game, but we only need one object. So let's create object. We're going to name it obj civilian, and you can give it a sprite. So I'm going to give it the first sprite we've got here, and it's not going to matter too much because we're actually going to change that sprite randomly when we create this civilian in the game. But for now, it helps to have a sprite on it so you can easily see it over here in the asset browser.
Oh.
Now let's click on parent and choose obj move parent so that all the logic we have in that then gets translated to this object. So in here, let's add a new event, and we're going to add the create event. And we're going to search for a code block called choose. And this is a random code block in that you're going to get a different number every time you call this. And what this does is it's just going to choose from the options that you have available and return one of those. So we want SPR civilian 0. And if we need more options, we can click this little plus right up here.
0.
We want SPR civilian 1. And then one more option for civilian 2. SPR civilian 2.
SPR.
And the target, what we're going to do with this is actually the sprite index. So what this system does is it's going to choose one of these 3 sprites and assign it to the sprite index of this object. And that's all we have to do there. So this is really little, but really powerful. We're going to get a different civilian sprite every time we make an object. Now the civilians here are going to act a little bit different than the windows. Currently, when our windows go outside of the room, we just then move them back up to the top. But for civilians, because we have this create code, we have to actually destroy them when they leave the room, when they get too low, and then create them again. So we're going to add a step event inside of here, and we're going to check to see if we are outside of the room. So we're going to grab the if variable, and we're going to check the Y position of our civilian. And if it is greater than room height plus 350, we want to destroy it. So under here in instances, we can destroy an instance.
Right.
And we don't need to add anything to it because we're just going to destroy ourselves.
350.
The next thing we're going to tackle is getting the civilians spawning inside of the room. But when we create them, we actually need to...
Now that hits me. I think that might be my problem. It shouldn't be 360, it should be 350. Somewhere around, somewhere down here. You. 350. Okay. Indeed, indeed, indeed.
Be on a specific layer. We want them to be between the player and the window. We want to make sure that they're never on top of or below either of those, because otherwise it's going to look really, really weird. So inside of our room, we're going to add another layer here. And it's going to be another instances layer. And this one we're going to name spawns. So this is going to be for anything that we're spawning, such as the civilians in the windows and the civilians when they jump outside of the windows when they are rescued. So make sure it's in between these, and you'll have some layering and depth issues if you don't. Now, let's open up OBJ window, because inside here we have a step event already. So what we're going to do is add on to this if variable to see if we should spawn a civilian when it gets moved to the top. So down here we're going to do another get random number, and we're going to put it just down here, so it's going to be linked right there, and it's going to be another integer, and right now we're just going to do 0 and 1. Later on we will add more for more options, and you can change how often a civilian gets spawned, but for now we're just going to have 2 options. We're going to create a temporary variable called chance, and we're going to reference this as we get further down. But we are going to use a new code block here, and this one is going to be called the switch. Now a switch is kind of like an if statement, but it's a lot easier to read and to have many different cases instead of just whether it's true or not. So let's grab this switch, and we're going to put it down here, all inside this if variable. And this switch, we're going to have it be based on the value of chance. And then for a switch case, we need to grab the case structure, place it in here, and now you can see that we have lots of layers to this. And if you want to move around like I'm doing, you can middle mouse button click, and then you can move around like this. And so we've got a switch statement at the bottom based on the chance, which right now can be a 0 or a 1. So we're going to check to see each of those different cases. If it is a 0, then we're going to create that civilian. So I'm going to search for create, and it's going to be under instances. We're going to drag it off to the side here. So we want to make a civilian. So I'm going to click on this, choose assets, go to objects, OBJ civilian, and we're going to do relative X and Y based on the window that we're spawning it on. So our Windows origin is on that windowsill, and we're going to make it at X and Y, which is the origin. So we're going to create it here, but if it's not relative, then it would actually get made at 0x and 0y inside of our room, which would be way up here, and that's not at all what we want. So make sure relative is checked, and the layer here has to be spawns. Make sure it's spelled correctly, otherwise you're going to get an error and it will not work. So with that, now it is going to create a civilian on the window when the 0 gets chosen of the random number here. We can fill out more cases as we go along, but for now we don't need to worry about that, simply because if it chooses a 1, then nothing is going to happen. What's cool about a switch is you can have as many cases as you want, and you can also have what's called a default case, which means that it will get chosen if nothing else is found to be the correct case. But that's kind of besides the point, just something to keep in mind. Switches are great when you have lots and lots of different options and you want each one to do something specific. And now we are almost ready to test this out, but before we do that, we need to actually change which window we're looking at. So if we go to our sprites, you'll remember that we've got 3 frames inside of here, and they're not animated. Instead, we want to select one of them for whenever we choose a civilian. Now, we don't want the first one, we want the second one. Now, what's confusing about it is that GameMaker starts counting at 0 for many different things, including the sub-images or frames that we have here. So you can see that the 0F stands for the 0th frame. And this window, the second one, is actually the first frame when you're counting starting at 0. And that's something important to keep in mind.
Okay.
So let's go back to OBJ window. And under create instance here, we're going to set that sprite that we want. So here, the Pac-Man, we're going to grab. Under here, we're going to set sprite to SPR. It's going to be window,
Sprite.
but the frame is going to be 1. So We want to make sure that it's on the second frame, which is actually the first frame because we start at 0. Now, let's run our game and check this out.
Okay, let's run. Let's see.
So we should now have random civilians inside of here.
Oh dear.
And there they are. They move down with us. They are animated. They're in the flames.
Uh-oh. Let's see. Haha. It's you. Chance, chance, chance. New X. Yep, yep, yep. Okay. Now hopefully it'll work. It works. It works indeed. But the rooms are still like cramped into each other. That's what's putting me off here. I don't like that it's so cramped into each other. But it's something that has to be edited upon in this place. Yeah. Here, nope. Background. Instance, yeah, here. Like, I don't know how to really set it that it doesn't. Yeah, see, there it goes again. It's cramping them into each other. Like I said, it's something that's gonna have to be worked on.
That is perfect. But we have one small issue where you kind of just saw it. That window has no one in it, but it has a flame. And that's because we're not resetting the actual window sprite.
Oh, I didn't even notice what he says. He says some of them are just empty. Let's see if we have some empties. Yes, we do. Ooh. Indeed, we do.
Right back to 0. We're going to grab the set sprite right before the switch case, and we're going to choose the SPR window, and we're going to make sure it's on frame 0. So now, when it goes through and the window moves back up to the top, it will change back to the first sprite, the first frame, and it won't have any empty flames.
Let's see. So there shouldn't be like empty
So that fixes
ones.
all of that, and you can see that it runs really smooth. This is coming along really, really well. We've got an infinite game that we can play here. We've got civilians, we've got them all moving, we've got parents. So far, you've already learned a tremendous amount just in these two parts. But we're not even done yet, and there's still a lot more to do. And now we're going to set up the system to be able to rescue our civilians.
Ooh,
so in the civilians group, I'm going to create 3 new sprites. And at the top, I'm going to click on import, and I'm going to find civilian rescued 0, bring it in. We're going to rename this to SPR civilian.
Okay. SPR civilian rescue.
Rescued 0.
Rescued 0. Oh yeah, probably need to. Here we go. Yes. And then obviously 0, 1. Don't show this again. There we go. There's number 1. There's number 2. SPR civilian rescued 1.
Do the same thing for the next 2. Import civilian rescued 1.
Civilian, nope.
And civilian rescued 2.
Rescued 2.
So this is what we're going to have the civilians switch to when we rescue them. Where they get these parachutes from, well, I guess we're just carrying a lot on us. But one thing we do need to change is from middle center or top left to bottom center. So all of the civilians are going to have bottom center origins. Otherwise, they're going to warp around and it's going to look really, really weird. So make sure you change those origins to match. Now let's open up the OBJ civilian object. And in the create event, we're actually going to make our own variable. So we're going to look for a sign. And this is called a sign variable. Now, the name of it is we're going to set this to rescued. And we can put any name we want in here. You can't reuse the built-in variable names. Those are off limits. But everything else is pretty much up for game. And what we're doing here is creating a variable specifically called a Boolean, which is either going to be true or false. That's all that is. Boolean. It just is a way for us to be able to check at any time if we have rescued this civilian or not. It's information that we need to know, and there's no way that GameMaker has it built in for us. So instead, we need to put this inside of here so that we know if we have rescued them. And we can check this anytime we need to. For the value, we're going to set it equal to false. So it can be false or true. When we rescue them, we'll set it to true. So let's create a new event for the civilian, and it's going to be under collision, and we're going to collide with the player. So we're going to check to see when we're colliding with them, just like how the player collides with the windows and moves them down. Now we're going to have the civilian check to see if we are colliding with the player, because if we are, then they are rescued. So we're going to add the if statement inside of here. So right here, if variable, and we're going to check rescued. What we did in the create event was make this variable that we can check anywhere in any of the code for our OBJ civilian, which is why we made that in the create event.
Okay.
So if rescued is equal to false, so we haven't saved them yet, then we are going to assign a new variable here, right under common, right there. We're going to assign a new variable, and we're assigning rescued, so we're going to change it, and we're going to change it to true. And this system allows the civilian to only be rescued once, because we might collide with them multiple times, but we don't have to worry about it because this is only ever going to trigger when it's false, and as soon as it triggers, it sets it to true. So it only happens one time.
Okay.
Now, for the rest of this, we need to take that civilian, move it up, change the sprite, and then have it fall back down to Earth. So let's start by setting the speed. So right up here, we can set speed underneath after assigning the variable. We want to do the vertical speed, and it's going to be -18. So we're going to have them kind of jump up like the player does. But then we're going to set the gravity force. So inside here, we're going to set gravity for this object, and it's going to be at 0.5. So they're going to go up a little bit, then they're going to start coming down. Now the question is, how do we know which sprite to assign? Well, we can use another switch statement. So search for switch, drag it right down here, and then we're going to have 3 different cases. So I'm going to go ahead and grab these 3 cases right here. And the cases that we have are the different sprites that this OBJ civilian could be. So what we want to check is our sprite index. And the first one we're going to check is SPR civilian _ 0.
Oh, damn it.
Then we have SPR civilian _ 1. And the last one that it could be is SPR civilian _ 2. So these are the 3 different sprites that this object can be. And if it's the first one, or I guess the 0 with 1, then we're going to change it to the proper sprite of that civilian floating down with their parachute. So now we're going to set a sprite here. So I'm going to drag this in for each one of these as well. And we already know which sprite it should be, so we can just choose right here. So for civilian 0, we want civilian rescued 0. For civilian 1, civilian rescued 1. And civilian 2, same thing.
Damn it.
And there we go. Using that, we can now rescue our civilians. So let's run the game and test it out. I think you'll see that this small little change is going to suddenly make the game much more interesting and fun to play. There we go.
Oh, okay. Let's see. It will still be cramped, but it is what it is. Hey, hey. Be free. Get out of the building now. There we go.
We can now rescue civilians, they change, and everything is working exactly as you would expect, which is really, really cool. So one thing that you may notice is that when we rescue those civilians, they actually pop out and we are in front of them. And that's fine, but it might be better if the civilians are actually in front of us to show that they are clearly rescued, coming down, and that we're not covering them up at all. And the way we've been doing that up until this point is by having different layers. But we don't need to make a new layer specifically for this. Instead, we can control the depth. So every layer has a depth built in. And each layer, you can check the depth of that layer. So the background has a depth of 300, and it goes up by 100 for each layer. So you can see the depth of all of these. So a less depth is closer to the screen than, so when it's being looked at, that's the thing you see first. So what we can do is actually change the depth of the civilian that we've just rescued. And we're going to want to do this with all of them. So what we're going to do is place a new block right up here before the switch. And this block is going to be the set instance variable. So we're going to drag this up here above the switch. And what we're going to change is the depth. And what we're going to change it to is our obj player. And then we're going to put a period, which allows us to access the built-in variables and data about our player. Dot depth, and it's going to be -10. So whatever depth our player is at, we're going to move this civilian 10 closer to the screen. So if we run this, it'll be the easiest way to understand it.
-10.
Every single layer has a depth, and it's stacked on top of one another. So now when we rescue them, they are in front of us.
Oh.
So by accessing the depth of our player,
Looky,
and then
looky.
moving the civilian 10 less,
Nice.
it actually moves it closer to the screen. And I think that looks really great. But again, your game, you're customizing here. If you don't like it, feel free to change it and make it exactly how you think looks best. So as we're going through rescuing civilians, what we need to have is a score system. So we're going to add a little bit of a HUD so that we can see how many we've rescued and how we're doing in the game. We're also going to keep track of the high score as it's being played so that you can continually challenge yourself to do better and better. For this, we're going to need a few sprites, and we're going to add a new group first. So I'm going to go create
So sprites and another group.
And this one I'm going to be called HUD. H-U-D. HUD stands for Heads Up Display,
Yes,
and you've seen it in probably every single game you've played for a very long time now. Almost every game has a HUD because it's a way of giving you information about your items, your character, your location, your weapons, your score, whatever the case is. That's what a HUD does, and this is part of the UI, the user interface, that everything you see. And what we're going to do is add a HUD to our game, which shows us the score that we currently have. So right click, I'm going to create a sprite, and I'm going to go to import, and we're going to jump out of the civilians, and we're going to go to the UI folder, and what we're going to grab is the scorecard. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to rename this to SPR scorecard. And make sure your origin is in the middle center. That's where we need it for this one. And now we need to be able to actually show the score. But the way we're going to do that is not by bringing in an image, because the score can change, well, it will change every single time you rescue a civilian. So what we're going to actually do is draw some text inside of this sprite. And to do that, we need to create a font. So up here we have a group called font. I'm going to right click and create a new font. And I'm going to give this
Font.
F and T as a prefix,
There we go.
and then we're going to call it score. So GameMaker has the ability to have custom fonts in here. You can
No. No. F2. Rename. F and T. Score.
So GameMaker has the ability to have custom fonts in here. You can choose from all of the built-in ones. You can install new fonts, and you can create as many as you want. So the font we're going to be using is called the Potzen 1 font. You can press P and look through. Now, it is not a built-in font to my system. I actually need to go and download it. How you do that is by finding the font you want, and in the description below you'll find a link to the Potzen 1 font right here, or Potzen, however you want to pronounce it, I don't know. But click download, and then it's going to download it. On mine, it's going to save it.
Potzen font. I see on the font. Download. Okay.
And then I can open it up, extract the file, and then once you have it
Extract.
here, you can double click on it, and you can click install. So this is
There we go. So now it. I see I'm missing something.
This is actually going to install this font into my system, and then after you've installed it, you can come back into GameMaker, and what normally is required is a reset. So I'm going to go ahead and save my project, exit out of GameMaker, and then I'm going to reload GameMaker, and now it will have that font installed.
Oh, okay. Save project. Saved. First project, and I did save. I know that. Assuming R. Okay, basically reload. Let's get a game maker. There we go.
I'll go load up my project again. We will go back into the font.
Okay. Opening P A.
Press P, scroll down a little bit, and here is Potzen or Potzen 1. And that's how you install fonts, but you can use whichever font you want. We're going to change this size to 36, so it's a fair bit larger. And this is the font we're going to use for all of the scores that we show inside of our game.
Ooh.
That's everything we need to do with the fonts. So I'm going to close out of that. I'm going to go into OBJ Player one more time. So in here, we need to create a variable that we have access for our score. And we want this to be accessible everywhere, because we're going to increase it here, and then we're going to draw it in a different object. So up until this point, we've used temporary variables, which are only available after you create them inside of that event. We've also used that Boolean variable called rescued, and that was available through the entire object. But now we need to create a global variable. And this is a variable that is accessible throughout all of your. And that's everything we need to do with the time. So in here, we need to create a variable that we have access for our score. And we want this to be accessible everywhere because we're going to increase it here, and then we're going to draw it in a different object. So up until this point, we've used temporary variables, which are only available after you create them inside of that event. We've also used that Boolean variable called rescued, and that was available through the entire object. But now we need to create a global variable. And this is a variable that is accessible throughout all of your objects and all of your code at any time. Global variables are great for things like scores, things that we need to be able to have access in multiple different objects. Don't go too crazy with them though. Too many global variables can cause a lot of issues. Because if one object is depending upon a global variable and a different object just goes and changes it willy-nilly, it can cause your game to just completely crash. So keep that in mind. We're going to use one here because it is the best way of doing it, but don't just make all of your variables global. It's the best idea to keep your variables as local as possible. So use temporary whenever you can, then use regular instance, and then use global when necessary. So to create that, we're going to search for global, and we can set a global variable right here. This one is going to be called score rescue, and it's going to start with a value of 0. So now that we have this global variable, we can increase it whenever we rescue a civilian. So let's open up obj civilian, and when we collide with the player, all of this code gets run and we get rescued. So inside here, let's go ahead and search for global one more time, and this time we're going to actually set a global variable right under after we rescue them. So score underscore rescue is the variable we want, and we're going to set the value to 1, but we're going to click relative. So what that means is it's going to increase the value of this global variable by 1 every time we rescue a civilian. And now we're going to create a specific score object for keeping track and drawing everything related to the score. So in our objects, let's go ahead and right click, create a new object, and we're going to call this one obj underscore rescue. And now let's give this object our score sprite from our HUD, and this object is going to handle drawing the score onto the screen.
Score rescue. Whoops.
And there's a special event for that called the draw event, and specifically just draw. Now, when you add this event, GameMaker does something kind of funny that, if you're not aware of it, can catch you off guard. Normally, your objects will draw the sprite that you have associated with them, as we've seen throughout everything we've done up until this point. But as soon as you add a draw event, GameMaker says, you want to handle it, go right ahead. And it is no longer going to even draw the sprite associated with that object. Fortunately, there's a very easy fix for that. We just have to draw ourself. And there's a function, there's a code block right here called drawSelf. Drag that in, and now our HUD, our scorecard here, will get drawn exactly as expected. So now that we're sure our scorecard is being drawn, let's go ahead and draw the text that we want inside of it. But before we do that, we created a font, but in GameMaker you have to actually tell the object which font to use whenever you want to put some text onto the screen. So we want the set font code block, drag it inside of here. The font we want is font underscore score. There's a lot of scores being said right now. Then the primary code block we want to look at is called draw value. We're going to put this down here.
That's how you spell
And
value.
inside these quotes is what we can put as the caption. So the first part, so we're going to have rescued here, and we're going to do a space. And then the value that we want is that global variable. So global dot score underscore rescue. You can see the autocomplete came to the rescue there. Now we're going to have it at x and y 0, but we need them to both be relative based on this object. So we want to draw them right where we are, and our middle is right there in the center, which is exactly what we're looking for. So now what we're going to do is actually put this score object into our game. So we're going to make a new layer. Let's go ahead and rename this called HUD. And we want this to be on the very top of everything else. So then we're going to place it at the top left, right up here in the corner. And let's run our game and check it out, because now it should be showing our score. Oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? This is where we want it, but the text is way off.
I see.
Now, if we rescue a civilian, does it work? Well, it does. It changes and increases our score as expected,
Okay,
but the font
but the font
is
is
not
wrong.
where it should be. Like
See.
the text is way off.
Hmm.
The reason for this is GameMaker has several different ways
Sorry, I just
of
punched the
choosing
mic.
where to actually draw your text and your values at.
Ooh.
So those are called the H align and V alignment, which stands for horizontal alignment and vertical alignment. So let's search for a code block called set text alignment, and so then drag the set text, and we would need to do it above where we're actually drawing the text at, because this is going to set the alignment for the text right here. Now in the manual, it has a visual example of all of the different options that we've got right here. The way it currently is set is to FA left and FA top. So that means that for the horizontal alignment, it's to the left right here, and for the vertical alignment, it's to the top. So our origin for our scorecard is right in the center, which is where we want it, and we want the text to be centered as well, like this right here. So we want the horizontal text to be centered, and we want the vertical text to be in the middle. So centered for horizontal, middle for vertical. It's taken me a very long time to make sure that I actually know which the center versus middle for horizontal versus vertical, so don't feel bad if that's really confusing, because it kind of is at first. But for now, just follow along. We're going to change this to FA underscore center, and we're going to change the V align to FA middle. Just make sure you spell middle right, otherwise you'll have an error there. Now, if we run this, our text is actually going to be exactly where we want it, which is perfect. But when you change this, when you call this code block once, it changes it for everything. So any other time that we draw text, we are going to need to either set it specifically there, or we can grab our code block here, and underneath here, just drag this right here, and then it will be set back to the default. That way,
And then another text alignment just below it.
you don't necessarily have to set the text alignment every other time you want to draw something. But for this one, it will work exactly how we want it to. So the rescuing of the civilians is the first score. Now let's add in a second score, and this is going to be for the height. How tall, how high can we get in this game? So let's go back to OBJ Player. In the create event, this is where we made our global variable. We're going to click on this little plus icon to the left, which can be a little hard to see, but it gives us the ability to create another global variable. So I'm going to call this score underscore height. And again, this one's going to start at 0. And so this global variable will increase as we move up in the game. So in the step event here, let's go to set global. So this is
Set global.
what we want to use. At the very bottom here, we'll add it to this if variable check. And we're going to increase our global dot. And this is the score height. And we're going to give it a value of our down speed divided by 100. And we're going to make it relative. So remember that down speed is stored right here. We've got the variable down speed, and it's the opposite of our v speed. It goes all the way down here, but we're dividing it by 100. So essentially what we're doing is every 100 pixels our player climbs, we're going to give a score of 1. And so it's actually going to go up relatively quickly, but it's not dependent on hitting ledges, and it is dependent on actually moving up in the world. So to draw this score, we need another score object. So let's go ahead and right click on our obj rescue score, and we can duplicate this, and this time we're going to call it obj score height. And in that object, let's go ahead and go into it, open up the draw event. What we can do is just change what we're drawing. So instead of the rescued, we're going to put height, and then instead of the global dot rescue score, it's going to be global dot score height.
So instead, it's going to be global dot score height. Caption. Heighty. Just height. There we go.
Height. Now, this is going to work, but it is going to do one strange thing. And that's because we're dividing our height score by 100 of our down speed. So it's actually going to come up with a decimal. And to show you this, let's go into our room. And I'm going to add this height score over here on the right-hand side. And if we run this, we will now have both scores functioning kind of as expected. So you can see that our height has a decimal spot inside of there. Now, if you like that, great. Keep it just the way it is. But for what I would like to do, I want to actually round that value to the nearest whole number. So inside of our draw value, we can use a rounding function called round. And to use a function like this inside of the value, what we're going to do is recall it with the name, and then open it up with a parenthetical mark or parentheses, which is Shift 9 on my keyboard, and then go to the very end and do Shift 0, and it closes that parentheses. So it's going to take the value of global.score height and round it to the nearest whole number. And so now when we run this, you'll see that it's no longer 1 point or 7 point, it is just 7, which is, in my opinion, much nicer. But again, your game, keep it exactly how you want. I'm just showing you how to use a function inside of the value, and a very useful one for round. Now when we run this, and so it's going to take the value of global.score height.
It is that. It is this. What? Was it this? Yeah, there we go. Boing, boing, boing. Oh damn. Okay. Oh, there's a height now.
Height and round it to the nearest whole number. And so now when we run this, you'll see that it's no longer 1 point or 7 point, it is just 7, which is, in my opinion, much nicer. But again, your game, keep it exactly how you want. I'm just showing you how to use a function inside of the value, and a very useful one for rounding. And now the very last thing we're going to do is a really cool jump effect. So whenever we land on a ledge, we're going to create a sprite there, and it's going to propel us forward. It's going to look really, really cool. So let's first bring that sprite in. So let's go to sprites, and we're going to put this in the player group because it is associated with the player. So I'm going to go and right click, create a sprite, and this one's going to be called SPR jump effect. So I'll go ahead and name it right now, and then I'm going to go to import, and under the animations folder you'll find the jump effect. Now one really cool thing that Gamedev can do is import a sprite strip, which is just one long image full of images, sub-images or frames, and if it has this number at the end and GameMaker can evenly divide it, then it's actually going to bring it in all separated and ready to be used. So if we open this up, you can see it opens it up as individual frames, and if we press play now,
wow.
that is what it looks like. And I think that looks
Nice.
really, really cool. The only thing we need to do is change its origin to bottom center, because we're going to put it on the bottom of where the player is at. So after that, let's make a new object. We're going to call this obj jump effect. We can assign that sprite right to the object, and we need to also make the parent of this object the move object, because it's going to move down with the window that we created it on. If you don't do that, then it's going to like stay in mid-air and look really, really weird. So make sure you give it that parent there. Then we're going to go to add event, other, animation end. So when it is done playing, we're going to destroy it. So search for instance, destroy, which is right here. And that's all we have to do is just drag that right in there, because it plays through, and when it's done, we don't need it anymore. You don't want to leave objects in your game that are not being used, because they still count as resources that GameMaker is having to manage. So anytime you're done with an object, get rid of it. So that's all done now. Let's go into OBJ player and get to the collision event with OBJ window here. And every time we collide, we're going to create this jump effect. So we're going to search for create instance, put it down here. So the instance we're going to create is under objects, and it's going to be OBJ jump effect. We're going to create it relative to our X position, but on the Y, we want to actually make it on the window we're colliding with, because remember, the window's origin is right on that ledge where we want it to be. So how we do that is by saying other.y. In this case, only in a collision event, we can say other. So other, in this case, refers to what we are colliding with. We are the player. We have a collision event with the window, so other is for that window, and we want to get their Y position. And then we're going to create it on the player layer, and that's everything we have to do. Let's go ahead and run it, and now you'll see that when we collide with that window, the collision effect gets created and it moves down along with everything else. So I think that looks really, really cool. And that's everything we're going to do for part 2. In the next part, we're going to start looking at
I did something wrong. Why is it not showing?
everything we're going to... So I think that looks really...
Am I not noticing it? No, it's not there.
Really cool. And that's everything we're going to do for part 2. In the next part, we're going to start looking at how to spawn the fire obstacles, everything to do with them, including
other.y.
next part, we're going to start looking at how to spawn the fire obstacles, everything.
I never made the object. Yeah, okay. One object that has let effect. Huh? Oh. Okay. that. So let's see now. There we go. Now there's a jump. Nice. Okay.
Everything to do with them, including touching
And
them.
that's part 2. Part 2 done. Part 3 is fire obstacles. Now I think, you know what? I'm gonna call it here. It's been a very nice stream. I did learn a lot of stuff. Obviously I'm gonna have to go through this many a times just to get the theoretical stuff down, because it is nice. It's nice and practical, but you can't do most of the practicals without knowing the theory, because that's always the case, and that's like the most obvious thing that there is. So I'ma call it here. Made nice progress. What's two parts each, consisting of either an hour, I think. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna end it. There we are. Where is my software? There's my software. But yeah, let's save this, obviously. Close project. It's been very nice for the people who joined. Jzilla and HP Gamer, of course. HP Gamer. Obviously, sad that HP Gamer's Wi-Fi died. Yeah, Wi-Fi routers died completely today. Thank you, Jzilla, for being with me when you could. There is nothing bad that you couldn't stick. You have your own stuff to handle. I appreciate the audience that I had. Thank you guys. And I'll see you next time. Next week Saturday. I might do Friday. Maybe. Or I could do the entire week. I could do that. But I got some projects to work on for college. So not the entire week, but maybe earlier. Could be somewhere around Wednesday. So it could be just Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Sunday I'm obviously gonna take off, and then the Monday after that, it's study. But I will be able to take Saturday off to stream again. So that schedule stays there. I will change my schedule in case I can make it through the week for next week. But yeah, that's my stream. Again, thank you for the audience that I had. It means a lot to me. Two people is better than nothing. Even one is better than nothing. But yeah, thanks. I'm gonna end it now. Okay.